Hey guys, it's Sweet here. In my last episode, I finished building the train station, which accepts liquids such as lava. So in this video, I'll be showing you how I built my lava factory in the Nether. This allows us to get unlimited lava, which I or anyone else who plays on the server will be able to pick up with their trains. Now, before recording this episode, I did build a ton of track in the Nether to not only connect distant parts of our world, but also to prepare for this lava factory. Eventually, I did find a spot for this factory, which I really liked, and I put the circular track around it, which will allow for trains coming in, and then they'll just go around, pick up some lava, and then head back the way they came. So let's get started building our lava factory. The first thing we need to do is to put down a host pulley. As long as we have a lava source that is at least 10,000 buckets large down there, it will count as an unlimited lava source, which hopefully is what we have here. I don't really have a plan at this point, so I'm kind of figuring out things as I go, but I thought this would be a nice place to place the host pulley, and I flipped it around as this will be the side where the lava comes out. So what we can do here is we can get a pump and some fluid pipe, and we'll be able to hook it up on the side here. We can either put a pump directly like this, or if we want to make it look a little bit nicer, we can take some fluid pipe and hook that up to the side of our host pulley. We can also right click on our pipe to make it transparent so we can see the lava. And by turning this, we should be able to lower our host pulley. By holding shift, I can make it turn the other direction, which I'm doing here. And now we just need to spin this until we reach the lava all the way down below, which is quite far down. I'll skip ahead a little bit, and now our host pulley is all the way down. We can connect our pump, like so. We also need somewhere to place our lava, so I'm going to put these fluid tanks here. I'm going to make them pretty large, so they can be up to 3 blocks wide, and I'm not sure how high they can be, but I think we can go up at least 9 blocks in height if we wanted to. And as long as you're holding enough fluid tanks in your inventory, you can actually just place more levels by right-clicking like that, and it would automatically use 9. Now that we have that set up, we need a way to power our pump. So what I'm going to go ahead and do is get a windmill bearing. Might be a little bit counterintuitive to have a windmill in the Nether, but it does work. So I just need to flip this bearing around because the green side is where we want to place our actual windmill. And I kind of wanted to hang out over the edge here. Once again, I'm kind of doing things as I go, so don't really have a clear idea of what I'm going to create in the end. But I thought it'd be kind of cool if we could have lava running over the windmill to make it look like the lava is kind of powering the windmill like a lava wheel instead of a water wheel. So I'm going to go ahead and place a few more sails on here. And once we have that set up, we can take an empty hand and right click on the bearing and see that it's working, although very slow. However, that's something we can update later. We just need a proof of concept now, so I'm thinking we'll take some lava and we'll put it up in the ceiling here. By the way, I'm using the mechanism mod in combination with Create, and that gives me all the tools, the mecha suit that allows me to fly and all this stuff, which makes placing lava a little bit easier. But yeah, after a few trials and error, I think this is going to eventually work. It's a little bit messy at this point, but I think having lava flow from up here down on the windmill is going to be good. So now we can extend our windmill. I want it to be as large as possible. I think 128 sails is what you want to achieve to have maximum power of, I think it's 8,192 SU. Initially, I just kind of want to get a layout going, so we'll have like 2 rows on each side to kind of get the direction right and see how everything looks. Now, these sails are part of the base Create mod, so you might have seen sails with the white wool on top of them. These can also be crafted without the wool, and they work the same way. They give the same amount of power. Now, the sails themselves, they connect without any kind of super glue. They already have glue on them, so to speak. However, the middle netherrack pillar that I have here does need to be glued. So, oh yeah, I don't want the end pillar here. I just want from there all the way to the bearing itself. That needs to be connected in order to move the sails around the way we want. And then I'll finish up this side to get our base concept working. And once that's done, we can test it again. We just need the empty hand, click the bearing, and we can see that it's working. And now we can test our lava again. So, just have to wait for it to flow down. Takes its time. But hopefully they'll look pretty good. And there we go. We kind of have a lava wheel. Now I'm going to skip forward to the maximum size. It does spin a little bit quick, but it looks alright. So I'm going to leave it at that. This will give us the maximum power of 8,192 SU. And it's good enough for my lava factory. Maybe I'll come back and touch up on it later. Now that we have power, we can start connecting our pumps. I got myself a speed controller so we can adjust the speed of all the gears and everything. And I also got my trusty toolbox, which holds my cogs and shafts and everything else that I need. So we'll begin by putting a large cog connected to our windmill like so. And that will give power to the speed controller here. And now we can hook things up to kind of test our system. So coming out of the speed controller, I'll put a gearbox. Then I'll put a shaft connected to it. And then just to test the system, we're going to put some small cogs, which will connect to our pump. And that will give us some power to start testing things. As you can see, the lava is already flowing and our tank should now start filling up. I'm also going to go ahead and cover these with andesite casing just to reduce lag and make things look a little bit better. As you can see, our pump is using 64 SU. And if we look at our host pulley, you can see that we have a bottomless supply, which means that the place we're pulling from is at least 10,000 lava blocks, which is great. And slowly our lava container is filling up. We can now increase the speed on our speed controller there to make it fill up quicker. The pump is using 256 SU, and we have 1,192 SU, which is the maximum for one windmill. So I'm going to go ahead and turn it up a little bit more, see how things perform. Now we're at 512 SU. Things are still filling up slowly, so I'm going to go ahead and crank it up to the maximum of 256 RPM. And that's pretty much as fast as we're going to get it to work. So we have achieved the first step. We're getting lava into our tank. Now for the next step, I want to be able to store more lava. So I want to expand this with 3 more tanks. So we can hold, I think, a couple of thousand buckets is kind of my goal. We'll see what we actually end up with. I do know that I'm going to need a lot more fluid tanks. So we can open our AE2 system here and find fluid tanks. And we'll be able to queue up a bunch of fluid tanks to be crafted via our automated system. I think 100 should be enough. So we'll set that up and let it run for a while. I also want to go ahead and get some stockpile switches. This will allow us to monitor how much lava we have stored, and then we can switch off our pumps when we don't need more lava. It's kind of to reduce server lag and stuff like that. And I think it's also going to look nice. So we have our 4 stockpile switches. Let's find a good place. Basically, these emit a redstone signal once they reach a certain level, which we can configure. And then they will stop emitting a redstone signal once they reach a separate level. And they just go back and forth depending on the level. So here I'm going to set it to 100%. That's when we want it to switch on. and then it will switch off again at 75%. And I'm gonna do the same thing for all the tanks here, although we don't have our last tank yet because we're still waiting on it to be crafted. Now we need to make the stockpile observers actually turn on or off the pumps, depending on how full the tanks are. And I'm trying to figure out a good place to put this, how to hook everything up. And I think what I'm gonna do is use some redstone links, which are just like wireless redstone signals. And we can put one of those on the stockpile switch, which would then trigger a clutch on or off. And basically, a clutch is just a encased shaft, which turns off the shaft when a redstone signal is inputted, and then the shaft is fully working when there is no redstone signal. So we'll put our first redstone link right here, and these redstone links accept 2 frequencies, and this is to prevent it conflicting with other redstone links that we may have. And I plan to have quite a few here. So the first frequency will be a lava bucket, since we're in the lava factory, and I'll just make the second frequency netherrack, since we're in the nether. Next, I need to create some clutches, so we'll just search for clutch here. I have a few available, so we'll just take those. We'll remove the shaft and the casing here, and that's where our clutch will go. Now the distance here isn't too far, so we could probably use redstone to connect to other clutches. I could have done that here as well, but it's kind of cool to show how this works. So we'll right click on the redstone link, and that makes it a receiver, and then we put in the same frequencies. And as you can see, the signal is being outputted by the stockpile switch, and that's activating our redstone link and is stopping our pump from working. So that works. Now we just need to repeat it 3 more times. I'll skip ahead a little bit. So now we're putting down the last cogwheel here, and all our pumps are now hooked up. And as you can see, lava is flowing to all 4 of our tanks. I also went ahead and put down a few more of the fluid tanks that we had crafted. I know I crafted 100, and that still was not enough, but I queued up another 100. So now we need to hook up our clutches here, so that these pumps stop running once the other tanks reach 100% as well. And we'll have 1 clutch for each tank so that they can individually be filled up as needed. And I've now placed all our clutches. And what I'm going to go ahead and try now is just use some redstone to connect the stockpile switch to the clutch like so. And that should save us some redstone links so we don't have to use them. And that should now stop all the pumps once the tanks reach 100% full. I'll go ahead and cover up some of these shafts with andesite casings once again to reduce lag, make it look a little bit better. But now we have the backside pretty much done. Our next step will be to hook up the portable storage interfaces, which will actually load lava onto our trains that are going to stop at the station here. So I'm going to go ahead and pull this shaft out here a little bit and put down another gearbox. And this should allow us to move this rotational power to the front of the station. And there we go. We were also able to finish all 4 of our tanks. And now it's time to put out some pipe, which will feed lava into our train here. Now, initially, I put out some pipe like this, but I quickly realized that it wasn't really going to look nice. The track is a little bit too far away, and also the height is wrong. I need the portable interface to be a little bit higher up for this to work. So I went ahead and grabbed some extra train track and built another rail next to this one. So the rail we already have will allow for kind of pass through for trains that don't need to stop here. So now that we have that taken care of, it's time to put our pumps at the correct level so that it can feed into our train. So I decided to clear out some of the area up above the tanks. This is because our interfaces need to sit one block above the tanks. I'll go ahead and place down some fluid pipe, which is going to bring lava out of our tanks and to the train using the pumps we're going to put down here. Just need to clear out some more of this netherrack to give us some more space. So let's grab our pumps. I'll stick them at the end of the pipes here, and later we're going to power them so that they can put lava into our trains. And to transfer lava, we need the portable fluid interface, which is going to go right here. And we need to make it face downwards so that it can hook on to our train here. So I'll grab an encased chain drive to bring our rotational power up 2 steps like so. Then we can go ahead and hook our shaft onto that, along with some gearboxes, which will transfer the power to the pumps. So like we did on the back, I want to be able to turn these off whenever there's no need to feed lava to the train. So I'm going to go ahead and make a few clutches here. And basically the idea is we'll detect when a train is actually under these portable fluid interfaces, and that's when we'll activate the pumps. There we go. We have our 4 clutches, which we'll just place like so. And then we'll head back to the other side to place down our cogs, which is going to power our pumps. Now, one thing to note here is that each pump is using 1024 SU, and our total power is 8192 SU. So with 4 pumps in the back and 4 pumps in the front, we're going to be maxing out our power exactly. Next, we're just going to check on all our pumps to make sure they're facing the right way. We want to make sure that they're actually pushing lava out towards our fluid interfaces here. I'm also going to go ahead and right click on all of these pipes so that I can see that lava is actually going through the pipes. And once again, we're going to get some andesite casing to cover up some of these shafts to, make it look nicer and reduce lag a bit. Next, we need a train observer. By the way, you can hold W to ponder any item in Create. So as you can see here, we can put down a train observer, and when a train is stopping over it or going over it, it will emit a redstone signal. That's perfect for our use case. So I'm going to go ahead and place that down on our track right below where we have our pumps. Then I'll place a redstone torch on the side of our observer. This redstone torch will deactivate whenever the train observer emits a redstone signal. And then after that, we place down our redstone link. Once again, we need some frequencies here, so I'm going to use the lava bucket and then also a gold nugget. I thought it was fitting since gold nuggets drop from the pigmen. Now we need another redstone link on each clutch, and we'll right click on the redstone link to set them to receive a signal. As you can see, this one is already activated now, and that's because there's no train down below. So we'll go ahead and do the same thing on each of these pumps. We don't have to do any separate signals since a redstone link can receive the same signal on multiple receivers. And we're simply monitoring for a single train. So that's all we need. And as you can see, all 4 pumps are now stopped, as we would expect. With our factory finished, we can now test this. So I have this little train, which has a lava car, which I quickly designed. I think it looks all right. One of the cut copper did oxidize before I finished the cart, though. So we went through the nether portal, and now we're coming up to the station here, and let's see, our train is stopping, and it's hooked up, and the pumps are activated, which means lava is beginning to fill into our train. So everything's working. So if you got this far in the video, I just want to say thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please give it a like, and if you want to see more of my videos, do subscribe. And also check the links in the description. I did put schematics up for this station as well as the lava train cart. So if you want to use this in your own world, like a creative world, or to load it into a survivor world using the schematic, feel free to. As you can see here in the video, this is me messing around with the schematic in my creative world. So thanks again, and see you next time.